It really sucks to handicap a game correctly, but come out of it getting your ass kicked. There's no time to sulk. There's money to be made on Friday. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Friday edition of Winning Bets. It's Jason Mass, of course, giving you guys free sports picks every single day. I want to be the first one to wish you guys a happy weekend. Hope you guys have a good time. Boy, we got our ass kicked last night. That was not a fun feeling. Not a fun feeling to sit there and watch Thursday Night Football unfold. Know you handicapped it correctly based on how it unfolded, and yet you come out of it just absolutely getting your ass kicked. We can start with Justin Tucker. Talked about how when you get into Dolphins territory and you get near the end zone, they don't allow touchdowns. It's hard to get in the end zone on that Dolphins, defense. And what happened? The first two possessions, really the only two, although they did kind of get a late touchdown late in that fourth quarter, but that was against some softer defense. But the first two times they got into Dolphins territory, they got stopped by that good Dolphins defense, and they had to settle for field goals. And, Justin Tucker makes 15 in a row, according to the announcers, and he misses the second one, so he can't cash it over 1.5, even though that was handicapped perfectly, that they would struggle once they got deep into Miami territory, and that's a settle for field goals. So we deserve that cash right there. And then the tight ends. We were on point. We nailed that the tight ends would be a big part of that game plan. Gesicki was the leading target receiver there for the Miami Dolphins. He led the way with 7 targets. Can't catch a pass, though. Gets 7 targets, gets 0 catches. One of those he should have caught. I think that was in that second quarter. That was that route where he was running towards us there, towards our side, or the sideline that was, to us where we were sitting and watching. And that one he dropped. But the other 6, whether it was Tua or Brissett, they couldn't throw him an accurate pass all night long. Nothing went into his catch radius. He could not catch a pass, so that was sickening right there. And then he also got a red zone, not a red zone. He got a touchdown look. You guys remember the one there from Tua where he tried to lob it over the line and throw him the touchdown? Well, of course, the defender was a terrible pass. So it was way too much air up under. The defender jumped up and swatted it down. So we are on point with Gesicki in terms of what we believed his production would be. And in additional, he got a touchdown look, but couldn't quite grab that. We were on point with Smith and Shaheen, both of those other 2 tight ends. Both of them cashed their receiving props. We knew we were going to get big nights from those tight ends. And again, Smith and Shaheen both went over their receiving total. Smith never got a red zone look. That happens, right? We played all 3 of those guys, hoping we could get one of those tight ends to go ahead and cash and give us profit. So Smith didn't get a red zone, didn't get a touchdown look, but Shaheen certainly got his. Got his there in that second quarter. Yep, Jacoby Brissett threw him a terrible pass. The defender was on him. He was certainly grabbing on him at the top of his route, but a better pass, and despite the fact that what the defender is doing, Shaheen will probably go ahead and pull that in. So just frustrating to nail that the tight ends are going to be a big part of that game plan. You saw it with the targets. You saw it with the looks that they were getting. You saw it with the touchdown looks that they were getting. And just come out of that just completely getting your ass kicked. Again, Justin Tucker started it off by missing his second field goal, kind of put it a little eerie feeling there on the night. So yeah, nothing went our way really other than the 2 backup tight ends going up over their receiving props. And then of course I made a couple live bets in that game. So Shaheen at halftime had 3 receptions for 34 yards. DraftKings offers player props live throughout the entire game. And at halftime, they offered Shaheen over under 3.5 receptions at, I think it was even money. And they offered over under 34.5 yards at minus 105. Well, at that point, he only needs 1 catch, right? They're not running routes where if they catch a pass, they're going to get negative yards. So given Shaheen's first half production, you assume he's going to catch a pass in the second half. We catch 1 pass in that second half, we go ahead and cash both of those bets. I, of course, made both of those bets. He doesn't even get a target in that second half. No targets for Shaheen in that second half. So obviously lost both of our live bets. Just absolutely frustrating. And then in the basketball, Heat don't go up over their team total. Raptors don't, or I guess Heat went over their team total. Raptors went over their team total. And that Moneyline parlay, only one team was able to come through, which was the Clippers. Clippers were the only one able to come through as the Raptors went ahead and win, and the Jazz lost. How surprising was the Jazz losing that game to the Pacers? So that was a big surprise. So I guess professional athletes can play basketball on consecutive nights. So we went ahead and ruled out that myth right there. So yeah, brutal night, absolutely brutal night. Sucks again to handicap that correctly, feel good going into the game, watching the game. You love the the production or not the production, at least the the looks, the targets that are going to your players that you've got bets in, and just to come out of that completely getting your ass kicked, that was not a fun feeling. That was absolutely not a fun feeling. But again, it's Friday. We're not going to sit here and sulk. We're going to get right back up off the mat, and we're going to go ahead and get in some bets on this Friday day. I've got a fair number of NBA bets today. When I was putting together these bets, there was a couple thinking here when I was putting together these bets yesterday. One was there's no Premier League and no NASCAR, where normally we have, between NASCAR and Premier League, we'll have 10, 12 bets, going on over the course of the weekend. So we don't have any of that volume. So kind of supplement it there. And then two, I already kind of know what my weekend schedule looks like. I'm not going to have a whole lot of time to do research over the weekend other than playing guys that we know, guys that we're comfortable with, guys that I'll back without really doing a whole hell of a lot of research. I just don't have a time to, fire off a lot of bets come Saturday and Sunday. So we're a little bit heavy on today's slate, but that doesn't mean I forced any action. All the research went into these, and I absolutely like all of these bets right here. First, let's start with these first quarter bets, which in doing first quarter bets, we've hit 2 of 3. Of course, the one last night that I didn't give you guys, Raptors 76ers. Remember, we talked about on yesterday's show going over 53.5 points. That bet would have cashed. Unfortunately, we didn't make it, but it feels good to know ahead that cash. So we're kind of 3 and 4 on these first quarter bets. I think we're getting locked in here on these first quarter bets. So let's go ahead and get in a couple of these. I'm going to do Cavs first quarter against the spread minus 1.5 points at minus 115. The Cats are 9 and 2 in the first quarter and covering against the spread, while the Pistons are 5 and 4. The math in terms of the numbers says the Cavs will win this by 2. So this will be close in this first quarter, but I think the Cavs at home could go ahead and pull this out. So I'll go ahead and back the Cavs and that strong 9 and 2 first quarter against the spread record. The next one, we'll go ahead and do the Kings first quarter against the spread minus 1.5 at minus 110. Kings are only 5 and 6 against the spread in that first quarter, but the Thunder are 2, 6 and 1. I've got the Kings winning this first quarter by 4 points. So big discrepancy right there with them winning by 4 points. So I'll go ahead and back the Kings in that first quarter. And then the last one we're going to go ahead and do is the Spurs. The Spurs who we backed the other night when they're 4-0. Now the Spurs are a perfect 5-0 as we know. So take those Spurs in the first quarter. You're getting 1.5 points at minus 135. The Mavs are 3 and 7. And covering the first quarter spread, again, the Spurs are 5-0. I got the Spurs winning this first quarter by 7. If you look at points scored versus points allowed, I got the Spurs winning by 7 points, and we're getting 1.5 points at minus 135. Absolutely love that bet right there. So we'll go ahead and back the Spurs in the first quarter. I do want to go ahead and get in a team total from that same game. I'm going to do Mavericks team total under 109.5 points, and got that at minus 115. My math says they'll score about 104 points in this game. So to get under 109, I feel really good. So do the Mavs team total under 109.5 at minus 115. All right, let's go ahead and get in now a couple player props here for this NBA Friday night slate. Let's go ahead and look at this Knicks versus Hornets game. I'm going to get 2 for this game in terms of Knicks players. I'm going to do Evan Fournier over 11.5 points at minus 113. And I'm going to do RJ Barrett over 14.5 points at minus 110. All right, why are we backing these two guys? Well, if we look at what the Hornets do, or don't do, I should say, in defending that small forward and shooting guard position, they allow 24.6 and 23.4 points, which rank in the bottom third for those two positions. They allow 52.4 field goal percentage to the small forward, which ranks in the bottom third. They allow 3.6 and 4.2 made three-pointers over the course of the game, which is last and bottom 5 in the NBA. So yeah, Fournier and Barrett should both have good games. Like them both going up over their point total, so we'll go ahead and back both of them. In that same game, though, let's go ahead and get in a bet here on a Hornet player. Let's get in Terry Rozier, Scary Terry as they call him, over 17.5 points at minus 113. The Knicks allowed 22.5 points, which rank in the bottom third to the shooting guard position. They allow 4.2 made three-pointers, which is second to last to the shooting guard position. So like Scary Terry Rozier to get up over 17.5 points tonight. Let's go ahead now and look at this Nets game. I'm going to like James Harden. I think James Harden is going to have him a fine game. So go ahead and take James Harden over 29.5 points and assists at minus 106. Look, Pelicans versus point guards are allowing 25.2 points, which ranks in the bottom 5 of the NBA. They allow 50.4 field goal percentage, which is in the bottom third in the NBA. And they allow 8.6 per game, which is bottom 5 to the point guard position. So this is just a setup. It's just really nice for James Harden to score and also get him a fair number of assists in this game. So like him going up over 29.5 at minus 106. All right, other NBA bets I'm considering that I'm going to pull the trigger just depending on the number. So make sure you follow me on Twitter. It's at WinningBetsPod. It's at WinningBetsPod. I like Suns Grizzlies first half over. I don't really know what the number is, so that's why we need to wait and see what it is. But the Grizzlies are 4-1 at home, cashing the over, and the Suns are 2-1 on the road, cashing the over in the first half. I've got this scored at 114 points in that first half. So if we get anything around 111, if we get a 111.5, I'm going to go ahead and take the over. So just be on the lookout for that. The other one I want to go ahead and possibly do is Robert Covington. Robert Covington, the Rockets, in defending the power forward position, they allow 24.7 points, which ranks in the bottom 8 of the NBA. They allow 51% field goal percentage to be made, which ranks in the bottom 3rd. And they allow 3.2 three-pointers made over the course of the game, which also ranks in the bottom 3rd. So you can see they're allowing a lot of points to that power forward position. We know Robert Covington, this should come in anywhere between about 8 to 11 points. I feel really good backing him in this spot, given the Rockets' struggles up against the power forward. But again, let's see what the number comes in. We may go ahead and back Robert Covington in this game. The other one I want to go ahead and back is Blake Griffin. Obviously, we're going to fade Blake Griffin. We didn't fade Blake Griffin the other night going up against the Magic because he actually had a really good spot in terms of what the Magic allow to centers and power forwards. Like, I thought he was actually going to have himself a good game, and he ended up that game with 0 points. So if he's not scoring against when there's an opportunity for him to really do some damage based on what the numbers say, boy, I've got no problem fading Blake Griffin. So whatever his number comes in at, I'm going to be fading Blake Griffin. And then I'm also looking at Kent Bazemore. Got tipped onto this by one of the great supporters here of the show. And yeah, it looks like he's staying up under his a lot this season. So let's see what his number comes in at, and we may look to fade him for the first time this season. All right, so for that NBA recap, go ahead and do that Cavs first quarter minus 1.5 at minus 115. Take the Kings first quarter minus 1.5 at minus 110. Take Spurs first quarter plus 1.5 at minus 135. Mavericks team total under 109.5 at minus 115. Take Fournier over 11.5 points at minus 113. Take Barrett over 16.5 points at minus 110. Take Harden over 29.5 points and assists at minus 106. And take Terry Rozier over 17.5 points at minus 113. And that'll be the Friday night's NBA slate. Really look pumped to cash in these bets with you guys. All right, let's turn our attention now to Sunday NFL action, where I've got my favorite money line, my favorite money line parlay, my favorite teaser, my favorite against the spread and over-unders, and I got my favorite dogs of the Sunday NFL slate. Let's start it off with my favorite money line. I'm going Broncos money line at minus 132. It's really, they're going up against the Eagles. They do it pretty much all better than the Eagles. They're obviously coming off an impressive win against the Cowboys. There's a whole hell of a lot to like when you're backing these Broncos at home against the Eagles. So I'll go ahead and do that at minus 132. My favorite money line parlay of the weekend is tailing two teams in the AFC South. Add those Titans and Colts at plus 109 is what you can get that in. Titans going against the Saints. I mean, just nothing worries me there with Trevor Siemian. I don't know. Maybe Taysom Hill will be back. But either way, this Titans team is rolling. Absolutely rolling. They're in a fantastic place. Having Derrick Henry, not having Derrick Henry didn't even hurt them going on against the Rams. They just look good. Quite frankly, the Titans look good. They may be one of the most consistent teams in all of football right now. And parlaying them with the Colts. Colts are going against the Jags. I mean, yeah, okay, Jags got a win last week up against the Bills, but the Colts are in nice form right now. Colts have generally played really well against the Jags. They do it all better, generally speaking, than the Jags. So Titans, Colts, moneyline parlay at plus 109. My favorite teaser of the weekend is Washington football team getting 17.5 points and parlaying them with Vikings plus 10.5 points, and you can get that at minus 131. Vikings have been playing everybody tough. So to get 10.5 points, absolutely like that. And Washington at home against the Bucks. Yeah, the Bucks do it better than Washington, but remind you of that playoff game. They were right there in it till the very end. Tyler Heineke looked really, really good in that game. So I think Washington can keep this game close. Quite frankly, I think they'll be able to hang with the Bucks at 17.5 points. I don't see them getting blown out by that much. So love this teaser at minus 131. How about my favorite against the spreads or over-unders? This week I'm going over-unders. Couldn't find any against the spreads I like because you guys know I don't like the double dips. Certainly I like some teams that cover the spread, but I've already got them as my dog, or I've got them in my money line parlay, what have you there. So I'm going over-unders for this one. I'm going over 51.5 points scored in that Chiefs-Raiders game at minus 110, and I'm going under 46 points in that Browns-Patriots game at minus 115. How about my favorite dog of the week? I've got two favorite dogs of the week. I absolutely love the NFL dogs this week. I'm going Browns at plus 120. Think they have a real good shot of going ahead and knocking off the Patriots. I like Raiders at plus 135. Think they can absolutely hang and beat those Chiefs this week on Sunday Night Football. So give me those Raiders at plus 135. All right, let's go ahead now and turn our attention now to some NFL player props for Sunday, I'm going Aaron Jones over 26.5 receiving yards at -115 up over at DraftKings. Talked about this one in a tweet the other day about how they're going up against the Seahawks. We know the Seahawks continue to struggle the running back position from a receiving standpoint. Remember Alvin Kamara and that easy second quarter cash? Well, Aaron Jones is equally as good from a receiving standpoint. Think he'll have himself a monster game. The Seahawks allow 70 yards per game receiving-wise to the running back position, second most. We only need 27 here. Think he can easily get this. Don't care which quarterback is under center. Like Aaron Jones getting 26.5 receiving yards at -115. Like Dalvin Cook going up over 88.5 rushing yards at -115. The Chargers allow the most rushing yards in the NFL to the running back position. Absolutely love this spot for Dalvin Cook. You know how Mike Zimmer absolutely loves the ground game. He's going to see that the Chargers give up all the yards to the running back position. This is going to be a really good game here for Dalvin Cook. So like him going up over 88.5 yards. Let's also go back to our friend Javonte Williams, who we got a cash with earlier on the season. Like Javonte Williams to go up over 48.5 rushing yards at -115 up over at DraftKings. The Eagles allow 104 yards per game, and they allow running backs to get 24.7 carries. He'll split the duties there with Melvin Gordon, but he's more explosive. He's got a much better average per carry than Melvin Gordon, so that's why I settled on Javonte Williams. Even though he is the backup, he may have a touch less carries, but like last week he got 17 and Melvin Gordon got 21. So they'll pretty much be neck and neck in terms of carries. I like Javonte Williams. Give me the more explosive back-to-back that's got more punch to him. I like Javonte Williams to go up over 48.5 rushing yards at -115. All right, a couple player props I'm keeping my eye on, but the sportsbooks don't have the numbers yet. I like Noah Fant. The Eagles allow the most fantasy points per game to that tight end position, so I'd like to see if Noah Fant, let's see what his number comes in at. I also like Dan Arnold. Colts ranked 26th in the league in terms of fantasy points allowed to that tight end position. We know Dan Arnold really well. We've been getting cashes with him, so we'll look to go back to that well. We'll also look to go back to the Mo Alley Coxwell at the Jaguars, ranked 24th in the league in fantasy points per game allowed to that tight end position. So let's see what Noah Fant's number comes in at. Let's see what Dan Arnold's number comes in at, and let's see what Mo Alley Cox's number comes in at. We may look to back all three of those guys. And one more, Darrell Williams there, Chiefs running back. We need to know what the status is of Clyde Edwards-Helaire. If Williams is the primary back, go ahead and back him all day long because the Raiders struggle to defend that running back position and they give up a lot of yards on the ground. But if Clyde Edwards-Helaire comes back and now you really don't know who's going to get the majority share of the carries, that may put us off there. But let's just see what Clyde Edwards-Helaire's status is for that game. If he's out, yeah, we'll look to back Williams there up against that Raiders rush defense. All right, so for your NFL recap, let's take Broncos on that money line at -113. Let's take a Titans-Colts money line parlay at +109. Favorite teaser, let's take Washington +17.5, Vikings +10.5 at -131, going over 51.5 points in Chiefs versus Raiders at -110, under 46 points in Browns versus Patriots at -115, Browns on that money line at +120, Raiders on that money line at +135, Aaron Jones over 26.5 receiving yards at -115, Dalvin Cook over 88.5 rush yards at -115, and Javonte Williams over 48.5 rushing yards at -115. And of course, we got all the things we may add in the NBA and we may add in the NFL a little bit later. So just make sure you're following me on Twitter. It's at WinningBetsPod. It's at WinningBetsPod. Again, guys, it's Friday. I wish you guys a happy weekend. Let's cash some bets together. Let's have some fun watching sports and putting money in our pocket. And we'll see you back here on Monday. We'll count it up and we'll kick off a new week here on Winning Bets. Have a good one, guys. Thanks for watching till the end. I'm Jason Mattis. Any love you can show by giving me a like, a subscription, or a comment, or even just share this video is very much appreciated. And don't forget to turn on your notifications to increase your chances of locking in the same odds as I talked about today. And check out my other great videos in these corners.